But basically what he did was they hired a kid actor, and he was in a park, and they did a social experiment where the person pretending to be the kid's father, who was supposedly lost in the park, would go up to the stranger because the stranger would be concerned for the kid, right? And so they did a social experiment where he was dressed, more casually. And the strangers were hesitant to hand over the kid to when the prankster guy was dressed up in casual apparel. But when he waited some time so that they could get a new person, or they went to another location. But when he put on a suit and tie, and he had his hair done well, and he looked more presentable, more professional, the hesitancy of the strangers to hand the kid over to the prankster pretending to be the father, even though the kid was obviously an actor and the prankster was obviously a social experiment. It was like a 9-to-1 ratio that they would hand the kid over much easier if they perceived him in a suit and tie, and they perceived him to be more professional, even though the guy could just be lying, but he's just dressed sharper, right? That's the game. So that's really what fake it till you make it means. It's, yeah, you have to feel it, and then you have to will it. You have to feel what it's like to be within a set version of reality that you want to put yourself in. You have to imagine yourself being there. It has to be colorful. You have to imagine it very vividly. And what you'll notice, so you can combine this with affirmations, right? And here's what I've noticed. I'll share my affirmations. I'll make a video once I'm back home. I'll make a video on my affirmations and how you can customize your own so that it can be that colorful. But what I've noticed for myself when I combine active imagination with my my manifestation script is I speak with a higher degree of vocabulary. I've been subconsciously wanting to just dress better because I want to convince the objective reality everyone shares that I am a professional, that I am someone you can trust. Even though you can be a trustworthy person, by dressing casually and whatnot. If you just appear more professional, you speak in a more professional fashion, and you carry yourself in a more professional fashion, you are drawing people to the version of that reality of yourself. So I'll share my script, and basically you can customize it. But yeah, that's really what fake it till you make it means. I was reading Neville Goddard's book. I believe it was called, I think it was The Power of Imagination, or I don't know what it's called, something imagination, but he talks about this a lot. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. You'll notice it very subtly at first. But then the more time goes on, you'll start realizing, especially if you are consistent with your affirmations and prayer, you'll start noticing that you're carrying yourself more in the version that you truly are feeling, imagining being. And so basically what you have to do, so I combine two practices, right? I combine active imagination with affirmations. I personally like to do my active imagination while I'm in a sauna. So what I'll do is I'm in a sauna that's about 175 degrees. I'll finish my workout, and then I'll stay in the sauna for like, I try to do 30 minutes, but 20 minutes is good. And you basically just want to dwell in the feeling of what you want. So if you, let's say it's a car. If you want, let's just say for example's sake, you want a Lamborghini Gallardo. Before you tell yourself that's what you really want, this is gonna sound stupid, right? But you have to really want that. It's something that you really have to want. So if you're a car guy and you seriously want a Lamborghini Gallardo, like you can't stop thinking about it, that's all you want, that, like that's your car. What you do is you combine, like I said, active imagination with your manifestation writings. So what you do is you want to be speaking in the present tense. You don't want to be speaking in a future or past tense. You want to be imagining exactly what color the Lamborghini Gallardo is, what year it is, how the seats smell, what color the seats are. Is it a manual? Is it automatic? What type of rims does it have? How many miles does it have? So you imagine being inside that Lamborghini Gallardo. Oh, and there's a third step here, so I'll tell you guys that right now. And the car's a perfect example for this. You imagine what it's like driving that car. You imagine, so when I'm in the sauna, whatever I want in my life, I'll share that in another video. But whatever you want, I'm speaking to you, the viewer. You have to imagine in the present tense, actually owning that vehicle. Actually imagining the color that you want. Down to the very decal. All of this must be very specific and it must be in the present tense. It can't be in the past tense. It can't be in future tense. You have to imagine having it now. And don't tell anyone. This is just for yourself. This is just for you. Eventually, everybody else's objective reality that we all share, they will see you in that Lamborghini Gallardo, but you just have to shut the fuck up. Imagine it in present tense and affirm it within your affirmations. So, I'll give you an example. You say, I don't know, I'm going to butcher the year, but just bear with me for example's sake. I own a 2000 yellow Lamborghini Gallardo in a manual transmission that has 80,000 miles. The interior color of the Lamborghini Gallardo is black with tan seats. It smells very much like a new shoe. It has a new shoe smell inside it, a new car smell inside of it. I own this Lamborghini Gallardo. This Lamborghini Gallardo is the vehicle in which I drive. This reality is mine. This vehicle is mine. And I'm very grateful to own such a vehicle. You would write something like that in your affirmations. Now, that's the affirmation part. When it comes to active imagination, I personally really like using the sauna after a workout. And let's just use the Lamborghini Gallardo as an example. After I'm done with my affirmations of that Lamborghini Gallardo, what I would do is I would just do some deep breathing. Doesn't have to be specific, but I would imagine what it's like driving that car. I would imagine driving it through a curvy road, There's a popular curvy road next to where I live. I would imagine driving through that loop. I would imagine having the top down, the sunset, me driving towards the sunset, me doing activities, me stepping out of the car, putting in the gas, having little kids come up, compliment the car. It has to be very colorful, and it has to be something in present tense when you're imagining it. Now here's the thing. It's obviously going to take some time, and I'm not saying that, you just have to imagine it and it'll come and you just have to affirm it. No, obviously, you have to work. We all have to make money. That's a given. But the thing is you will start operating in a way where you're very in line with your vision, with what you want, exactly what you want. Really sit down with yourself. Rather than listening to music all the time or just watching YouTube videos all the time of other people. Shut the media off. Put the phone down. Put it on airplane mode. Do what you gotta do. Whenever you have time, whenever you're in the car by yourself, just take a moment to yourself and really ask yourself, what is it that I want out of this life? And what is it that other people have told me what I want rather than what I truly want for myself? Selfishly speaking, what is it that I as a person want? How do I want to be remembered? What are things that I find valuable that other people don't? If you're a car guy, great. Put a fucking dope car in your affirmation. If you're not really a car guy, then put in a mission. Put in a value statement within your affirmation. Whatever, car guy or not, mission based or not, it doesn't matter. But really ask yourself, what is it that you want out of this life? Okay? Then imagine it actively. Don't do this Eastern culture bullshit where you empty your mind. No. Focus on something. Imagine the life that you want. Imagine having what you have already in the present moment. And you will subconsciously operate differently. It'll take you a while to notice, but try not to focus too much on it. Just keep imagining it in the present moment and keep affirming it. And just let your subconscious operate on your conscious activities. But really, really ask yourself. Like, I remember when I was working on this, you'll start to realize the more you write down your affirmations, the more you repeat affirmations to yourself and practice active imagination. As you're reading these affirmations to yourself, if you're not feeling convicted with what you have written down, it's probably because you're not really wanting that. You're not really desiring that. You're lying to yourself because it was probably something that someone else instilled in you that influenced you to think that that's what you wanted, when that's not what you wanted. So be selfish with yourself. Ask yourself truly, what is it that I want? Imagine it actively in the present tense. Speak in the present tense within your affirmations and within your active imagination. Read Neville Goddard's work on this. Neville Goddard. Listen to his lectures about this. I'm just sharing the message. This stuff works. And the crazy thing is you're doing this whether you like it or not. So when you're having a so-called bad day, it's because you let the day become bad. You viewed it in a negative light rather than a positive light for what's in line with your vision, your mission, your wants, your desires. Every time you know, before anything is spoken, that's why the Bible says the power of life and death, lie in the tongue. The reason the Bible says that is because say you respond to a negative fashion, to someone else in a negative fashion, all you're doing is causing more chaos. Whereas if you, and obviously easier said than done, right? We're human beings with emotions. We get caught up. I'm guilty of this just as anyone else is. I'm not saying I'm fucking perfect. I get it. I live in the real world. People are fucking idiots. I'm with you. I get it. But if you're already partially creating your reality, because I do believe you influence a good portion of it, but obviously if a country decides to nuke us, or a country decides to nuke another country, that's out of our control, right? So we obviously live in an objective based reality, but you do control your own reality with how you think, and how you think affects, with what you imagine. Then with what you imagine, what you think. Then with what you think, how you speak. What you speak of. What conversations you're sharing with the people around you. Then that affects your actions. A lot of people don't really think about this. They don't really think of the order of operations that comes from your perceived reality, which, yes, it does affect objective-based reality to a degree. Now, what percentage? I can't tell you. I'm not God. But it does to a certain degree. So, whatever you imagine, negative or positive, affects what you think. What you think, negatively or positively, affects what you speak, negatively or positively. What you speak of negatively or positively affects if what you're speaking of is productive or not productive to what you want out of this life. What you speak of that's not productive or productive to what you want out of this life affects the actions that affect you in a positive or negative, or I guess you could say productive or non-productive way to your perceived reality, which will affect your life. That is the order of operations. Before you think, you imagine. Before you speak, you think. And before you take action, you speak of it. And once you take action, that action was based on what you speak of. The fruits you derive from what you've worked on comes from what you've spoken of. What you've spoken of, what you've thought of, and what you've thought of, what you've imagined of. And I'll take it even a step further. What you've imagined has probably been constrained by the people not only you're around, but the people you compare yourself to. So, easier said than done, right? This obviously takes practice. Even, again, I'm not perfect at this stuff. I'm just sharing shit that I've learned. I'm on the road a lot for my job. I have time to look into a lot of different subjects, and this is one of those things that I just believe that people don't really think of the order of operations that affect their perceived reality, which, depending on your personal selfish endeavor, can affect the based objective reality that everyone does share. Depending on how big you set your sights. That's up to you. It's not up to me. I can't speak for the viewer. That's up for you to decide. It's up for you to decide what kind of life you want to live. I don't know what you want. I just gave you the Lamborghini Gallardo as an example. But that is the way that reality works.